In this episode, we are calling it the Tale of Six Sellers because Ryan and I are going through 6 different sellers and we're talking about their unique situations, their challenges, and how we overcome those challenges and ultimately set them up for success. It's a fun episode and entertaining one. I can't wait for you to listen. Welcome to episode 111 of The Real Deal. I am Janine Igliane and my co-host is Ryan Hatcher.
What's up, guys?
This is going to be an awesome episode because you get Ryan and I sharing stories, and I'm calling this episode The Tale of Six Sellers.
We're talking shop.
We are, and I think it's going to be good because people love hearing stories, and these are all, it's kind of crazy. And this is all this week alone, but it'll be great because we're going to get to speak into what our process looks like for selling homes, why we're different, and kind of talk about the market too and what's going on.
Yeah, get into some nitty gritty so that you kind of see a little bit more into the life of a realtor and what goes on behind the scenes, because I think a lot of people don't really understand. In fact, most people don't really understand what high-performing good agents do behind the scenes. Most clients don't even know.
Right.
Because we do it so regularly and sometimes quietly and quickly that you just don't know, and we don't tell them.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like I hear what these other realtors are doing and I'm like, it kind of blows my mind and I feel genuinely sad. So I think we should jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay. So first seller is a seller who is experiencing one of the 4 Ds. What are the 4 Ds, Ryan? I'm going to quiz you. Do you know what the 4 Ds are that cause people to sell?
Yeah. Divorce is one. Death,
diamonds.
Ooh, okay, yeah. That's
and the last one,
baby,
diapers.
Diapers, okay.
Yeah. Those are the 4 Ds. Okay. So those are the 4 like major reasons, and those are just big life events, right? And unfortunately, we have to deal with couples that are divorcing a lot because it is part of that.
Yeah.
This couple is divorcing. They have older kids, they have a huge house, and he called me, and the wife is not necessarily wanting to sell. So we deal with that, right? Sometimes not everybody's on the same page. They're trying to do it peacefully and work it out amongst themselves, but when I went there for the appointment, I only met with him. The wife was upstairs working. And when I was taking a tour of the home, because we always like to walk through the homes, right, to see what we're looking at, she just did not seem very happy. So I feel like it's a little contentious.
Yeah, I just have flashbacks. The first one I ever had, you and I were sitting in the listing appointment and she's crying. And he said at least 4 times in that conversation that he was an a-hole.
Yep.
And
I remember.
It was crazy.
It's hard.
Yeah.
They're stressed, and they're stressed because of what they're going through. You add on selling a home, which is one of the most stressful things you can do. You add on the money component. There's so much involved. And so for us, when we work with divorce clients or clients going through a divorce, we keep it super neutral. We keep the communication super consistent. We want both of them to be on the same page at all times. And I think we do a good job of navigating that.
Absolutely. And one of the tips I'll give any realtor out there is never communicate with just one of them. Always keep them in the loop together. And I love a group text. Sometimes we'll have conversations, right? And it's either a group call or I'll call one and then call the other and tell them the exact same thing. But most of the time, in today's world, people prefer the text or email, and then everybody's copied.
Yep.
So they're hearing the same message at the same time, and most of them appreciate that.
Yeah. I had one that was referred to me by a friend, said, hey, this friends of ours are divorcing. Anyways, I went to meet with them, and it was such a difficult situation, and the husband in that situation was like totally uncooperative and wanted to make it as hard as it could possibly be, that I had to say no thanks.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want to get in the middle of that, and I could just tell. So sometimes it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
We're going to have to say no, right? But as long as they're can be mature adults about it, we can help them.
And cooperate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, the one I have right now is amazing.
Yes.
They are just...
Yeah, they are.
It's an amicable split.
Yeah.
And they're just very easy to work with, and I greatly appreciate it. And the process has been 10 times smoother because
Isn't that funny how that happens?
and we sold it in, I think, 10 days, 9 days.
Yeah, which in this market's great.
Is fantastic.
Okay, my second seller. So this is a couple that lives in Tempe, and they moved here from the East Coast. And he's actually a drummer, kind of cool. Like, he won't tell me who he used to be in a band with, so I should probably look it up. But he had like drums, and anyways, kind of cool. They own a business here, but they want to move back to the East Coast because they want to be near their grandkids. So we get that a lot.
That's very common. I have another one right now. They're doing the same thing. Selling here, and they're moving to North Carolina.
Yep. So for them, it's like trying to figure out when's the right time. He needs to sell his business here before he can do that. So one of the things that they did great is they called me now in advance so that we can put a plan together so that when they are ready, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And this is only a couple months out, to be honest. He's in works right now to get that business sold, but they need that to happen before they can commit to moving.
And this is why it's important to reach out to your professional real estate person early, because in my folks' situation, they're moving to North Carolina to be close to family. They are in under contract on a new build, so they're building, and they've got 5 months. Okay, well, what's 5 months from right now? It's late in the year.
Yeah.
It's not a good time to sell traditionally. So they were wise to get a hold of us, and when we were there, we said, yes, you need to go now. Even though they've got plenty of time, they're not in a big hurry, this is the best time.
And that home, because it's in Tempe, it has like a lot of character and charm, and it's kind of funky and a little eclectic the way they had it. And so we were able to kind of talk through some of that, of like what they can do to prepare the home so that we can kind of neutralize it a little bit by still keeping the character and charm that it has, but trying to make sure that we're appealing to the masses. So that's also a benefit.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have another couple right now in Mesa, and they are going to be selling and then buying a new build, and they want to get it sold, but right now they're going through IVF. So it's just a process, and it's very challenging. So they're just basically getting the house ready so that then when that is done, they can rock. So same thing, they got a hold of us early, and then at least 5 times since that conversation, which has been almost a month now, he's reached out and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this in this area with the house. So it's like a AI generated photo.
I love it.
This is what we want to do. Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm saying yes, I think that's actually good. And then most of the time though is no.
Yeah.
Because they're spending money that they don't need to spend.
Yep.
And it's not going to dramatically increase the value of the home. Some of those things could help it sell faster and just be more appealing, but some of it's unnecessary. So another thing, always reach out to us if you're thinking about selling and you know you have work to do. We can tell you what to do and what not to do to save you some money.
And we have great vendors that we work with too. So totally. All right, my third. So this one is actually probably the saddest out of everybody. So they're a couple, and they had their house listed twice, 2 times before, with 2 separate realtors. And it's just been a nightmare. And meeting with them, they're so broken and discouraged, and like, are we even going to be able to do this? And they want to move on, and they're a couple that's like blending their family, and so they want to like have their own home so they can have their family together and have that fresh start. And they feel like they just cannot get rid of this house, and this house is actually really nice.
What do you think it didn't sell for, or why not? So
we went through all of that, and it was kind of mind-blowing. Part of it was the condition of the home, right? It wasn't updated and just wasn't in the best shape. And so along the way, they've done certain things like staging, right? That's a huge part, is just how the home shows, the decluttering and depersonalizing. And it's just been a process for them. Then it was the paint. Then they addressed the paint, right? And then there was roof repairs that needed to be done there, where on the patio roof, it was cracking and peeling. And so instead of their realtor telling them at the very beginning all these things that they needed to do, he just put it on the market as it was. And it ended up hurting them, because they were on the market for over 100 days with nothing. And then they got rid of that realtor and went with another realtor. And the stories that they were telling me, so they were telling me how they would have open houses scheduled, planned, and the realtor wouldn't show up.
Ooh.
or the realtor would show up late, or the realtor would have like 2 signs and no one would come. So the sellers themselves ended up holding open houses because the realtor wouldn't be there, and people would be coming to their house on the Ring doorbell to see the house because it was posted.
Wow.
And they're just, I'm like, are you kidding me? He was offering like, I'll put your signs out. Like, give me your signs. Like, she didn't have signs out. I'm just like, that is not your job. Like, and they said to me, they're like, we have learned so much because of what we've been through. We had to learn it. And I'm like, that is a perfect example of why we get such a bad rap in
as
this
an industry. Yes.
Because of agents like that don't do a good job. They don't have the hard conversations. So in talking with them, I'm explaining to them, they also, I look at everything when I look at a home that didn't sell. So I'm analyzing it, obviously price. Right? You got to look at price. Right. You got to look at the condition of the home. You got to look at the marketing, right? Photos, video. This one did not have a video. And just that in and of itself, listings with videos, Ryan, as you know, get 403% more activity than listings that don't. 400%.
Even before COVID, we've been doing videos for a decade, right? Yes. But even before COVID, it was important. Now it is absolutely crucial.
Yep.
Because everybody's looking online before they physically go see it.
Yep.
And the video is a big part of that.
It is. They want to get a sense of the layout, the flow. And just by having that video attached to your listing, you're going to get more activity. The house is super cute. And so we're kind of looking at it and strategizing, what are we going to do differently when we go back on the market, and trying to time that too. They're like, we want to get this sold right away. But I also explained to them, we can't do what you guys have done because that didn't work. So,
well, and a lot of times people think, oh, you're just going to lower the price. Not necessarily. No. Sometimes we can actually raise the price.
So speaking of, on this one, my recommendation to them is to change out the flooring. So here's a little hack, and we've been doing this a lot. If you have all tile and you want to replace the flooring, to bust up the tiles a lot. It's very dusty, it's very expensive.
It's expensive, it's a nightmare to deal with, especially if you're still living in the home.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you have all one level and you have all tile, you can put an LVP flooring on top of that tile and new baseboards, and it looks amazing and you would never know it.
Right.
I went yesterday to another listing that I was listed with another realtor, and this seller called me because it wasn't selling, and that was one of the things that we did. By the way, on that one, I can just tell you, when I went to go preview it while it was still on the market, and the agent knew that the seller had contacted me, I went there and the house was beyond filthy. You can tell that realtor had not been checking on that property. It was so dirty and disgusting. The front courtyard area was full of pigeon poop. I had to step over it to get in the house. That would never fly with us.
And it was vacant?
It was vacant.
Oh man. Yeah.
So she wasn't checking on it. Yeah. And that's such a disservice. That's your first impression. Right? So with this one, that's one of the things that we're talking about with them, is putting the LVP flooring all downstairs because it's all tile and it's just really old and dated. And they did say that was one of the feedbacks that they received. And when we do that with new baseboards, now we can bump up that price and put it back on the market. It's going to be amazing, and I'm confident.
We've done the same thing with roof replacements too. Like, let's say it's a 30-year-old roof. It needs to be replaced most likely, right? So if you do that, and then maybe you bump the price up. Before all the flooring contractors start hating on this, there's a right way to do it and a crappy cheap way to do it, right? You're not just slapping LVP on tile. There are things you need to do to prep the floor.
Yes, I have to have a professional.
But yeah, so it's a great way to, and obviously you have to make some adjustments with the door jams and stuff like that, but.
Thank you for watching the episode. Our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you. So for these people, not only has it been 6+ months of headache and stress for them of this not selling, but they're just broken down.
Yeah.
They're just so discouraged. And I felt so bad for them. And I'm telling you, it goes back to, and sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes a realtor did everything they could and it's the market. So I'm not saying that in all cases, but in this scenario, based on what they told me, both times 100% the realtor's fault. The first time, the realtor didn't want to have the hard conversations and tell them what they needed to do to get the house ready to get it on the market. And the second time, the agent was just super flaky. If you have an open house, like, you got to show up for that.
It's crazy.
Right? It's so crazy.
Well, and not only that, when I do open houses, if I'm going to take the time to do that, I'm going to put up probably twice as many signs as I actually need.
Many as we can.
Because I want to make it absolutely clear what's going down on this street today.
For sure.
At 2 o'clock, right?
If you're spending your time there and the sellers are spending their time leaving the home, like, why not make the most of it? But the fact that the sellers themselves had to sit in the home.
That's crazy.
And he said, he was like, I was talking to these buyers and like trying to, sell my home. And I'm like, that's not what your job is, right? Like, that's so sad.
I want to give a little bit of the flip side of that too, because this happens very rarely for us, right? But let's say the house doesn't sell, or for whatever reason the seller decides they want to cancel it, right? I have one in my mind, because it's only happened twice to me ever, but one of them was, we told her what to do. We said, this is what you need to do, and she was unwilling to do it. So the home sat. Correct. And then we dropped the price, and that's all you can do in those situations if it's not selling and you're not willing to fix the things you need to fix. For the most part, and our marketing was we were showing the views and all those touch points, right? And sure enough, she puts on the market with somebody else. She had done the exact same things we said, because I looked at the photos, and it sold for $30,000 less than what it likely would have. Yeah. So,
And that's how it goes, right? Sometimes they have to learn the hard way. They need to hear it from somebody else before it sinks in, and it just is what it is. In today's market, in this market that we are currently in, it is a price war and a beauty contest. So that's it. So you have to look the best and you have to be priced the best, because there's so many options out there and the buyers are few.
And it really is crazy, because when we're showing homes to buyers, like the last couple weekends, I've shown a couple different families, like 6 or 7 homes in a row. And it really amazes me what the condition of some of these listings look like.
It floors me.
And the photos are one thing, but when you actually get to the house, so I always look at what they see online as like the resume that gets you to the interview, right? The interview is when they physically walk in the door. And if they're not congruent, then you have a problem, right?
Nobody wants to walk into a home feeling disappointed.
Yeah, and I just made a video the other day about something simple like turning your air conditioning on. If it's a vacant home, why on earth would you not? It's 110 degrees. You have to. Because if they're uncomfortable, they're going to walk out the door.
Get out. Get me out. It
doesn't matter how cool the house is, right?
All right. Seller number 4. This is a 79-year-old man. So kind, so sweet. He's moving in with his son, and it's a big life move, but he's older and he has health conditions that make it hard for him to get around. And so I sat with him. His house is beautiful. And with his scenario and anyone like that, we're very hands-on. So when we have our stager come out, she's actually going to physically be doing some of the work that we need to do. If he needed repairs, that's one of the things that we're kind of navigating right now. We would send a vendor out there to coordinate that for him. Even preparing the home for when we do have photos, what we need to do in that. And he was like, I can't get around very easily. I said, don't worry about it. Our photographer is amazing. He'll get there early and he'll do all of that. So opening up the windows, just all of that kind of stuff, so that he can move on. So in this one, we're going to be very hands-on to help guide him through that process and get him moved to Washington with his son. For me, this type of a seller I have a heart for, because I want to help them, and I know that it's a lot, and I know this is like a major life move for them, and I'm sure there's a part of him that's probably struggling with this idea of like, I'm at this point in my life where I have to go live with my son. So
his independence.
Right. So for me, I want to help him and make this part as easy as possible for him so that he can go and do that.
Yeah, that's where our team thrives.
For sure.
Because we really step up and take care of things.
And I think everybody that we work with has that same mindset too, which is so awesome.
So I want to throw out a question about this specific scenario. So how's he going to handle the showings in the open houses?
Yeah, we've already talked about that. He's going to take his dog out, take him in the car and go drive around.
Okay, good. So he's actually mobile enough to get there. I had a situation one time where the lady was basically in a wheelchair, and it was so difficult for her to get from one room to the other, not to mention out of the house. And her son was the one helping drive the process. And that was the only scenario that I think I've seen where it actually made sense for them to consider a cash offer. Only because she could not get out of the house. And you don't want to be in the house as a seller when people are walking through it, period.
So right? Important.
I think people go to the cash offer first because it seems appealing. But in most situations, it's not the best because you're leaving so much money on the table in most cases, even though you get to pick your closing date, right, which is cool. And you don't have to worry about some of the hassle of traditional listing. But if equity is important to you, then it's probably not the best. So, but the cool thing is we can bring those options.
For sure.
So if you do decide, hey, I do want to see what that looks like, the easy button and hit the cash, then we can bring that.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
we can walk you through that and be your advisor through all of those different options.
Love that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, my seller number 5. So this was also a seller who's been listed with another realtor. And you guys, I went to the house and I'm walking through it, and I, again, was appalled by the condition of this home. So it was very lived in, let's say that, which let me say this too. I was appalled because it was on the market, not because that's how they live, because how they live was fine. It wasn't that. But a home that's on the market for sale with buyers walking through should never look like that. Not only did it have, it just was in total disarray. There was no intentionality behind the home. There were several areas where the carpet was dirty, holes, frayed. The carpet for sure needed to be replaced. And just, again, like that was one of those where it's like a few small tweaks and your home will sell. So, and then it also did not have a video. So in sitting with him and having a conversation with him, he had mentioned being able, because he is already working out of state. So he's commuting. So his mom is there taking care of the kids. He's going back and forth. That is stressful, right? And it's expensive. And so I asked him, or I proposed the idea to him of just moving everybody out, moving to Colorado and letting us do what we need to do to get this home sold. So we could get that carpet replaced for very inexpensive. We can come in and clean it, right? Cleaning is huge. People underestimate the power of just cleaning their house, like a good deep clean. And then we can stage it. And I told him, I said, I guarantee you if we do those things, combine that with our marketing, this house will sell. It's the best price in the neighborhood. So that's, again, where it goes back to, it's a price war in a beauty competition, right? You can have a great price, but if your house doesn't look good, then it's not going to sell.
That's great. It's great advice, because in that situation, it is the best option for them. They're going to move anyway. Just go. We can get it done faster. And it's going to be a much cleaner thing. Not only that,
for him.
And they'll make more money.
They'll make more money. It'll sell faster, and he won't have the hassle of having to clean the home, leave for the showings, get his kids out, come back. That is a stressful process that can wear on you. And that's how I felt with him too. Just like the other sellers, I just felt like they were a little bit broken down and just like, oh, like we're so like defeated in this process. I have to share this though. I always ask my people how they found me, and I asked him how he found me, and he said ChatGPT.
Nice.
And he said, I have to tell you this, Janine. He said, I love ChatGPT. I was like, I like it too. And he said, but I asked it like different ways and you kept coming up. And I was like, that's so awesome.
That is cool.
So super excited for that. And for those, like I told him, I'm like so excited for all of my sellers to make it happen for them so that they can go and move on to that next chapter.
So let's talk about some of those common things that I think people get wrong when they list and their home's not ready, right? So I've seen so many times, like let's say this wall right here, it had some picture frames and TVs or whatever up, and then they go find the exact same paint can that they used to paint that 5 years ago, and they touch it up, but it looks like it's a completely different sheen because the paint is aged now, or the wall has aged, right? So that's one of those things where we would just say, paint the whole wall. You don't have to paint the whole room, just paint that wall. And that's a simple thing that will help clean it up, and then it looks nicer.
I have never had anybody, unless they were a professional painter, be able to touch up the wall paint. I've never.
It's very hard.
It is very, very hard. And you can literally be the exact same can, but to your point, it ages and it changes over time. And so it's just, and then it becomes more of an eyesore because now you have all of these blotchy paint and it just doesn't look good. So the best thing to do is, to your point, just paint that wall.
And here's the reality, right? Sellers are trying to minimize their expenses to sell. And I get it. I've been there. Right. And so you have to know that we are not going to tell you to do anything that isn't absolutely necessary to sell your home for more money and to sell it faster. Both of those things are important.
Well, and the other big factor, Ryan, is that buyers come in and they see that and they think, oh my gosh, I have to paint the entire house and it's going to cost me 20 grand,
and
right?
And here's the tip that I'll tell you. They always overinflate it.
Yes.
So if, let's say, the carpet in this space is a $5,000 thing, in their minds it's 15 grand.
Right.
I've tested this.
It's true.
I've tested, how much do you think that'll cost? Knowing what it will cost. And it's almost triple.
Always.
And they're always thinking about the hassle of it too, right?
Yep.
So a simple thing too that we've talked about recently, I just made a video about this about a month ago. I had sellers that we told them to update and to replace like 3 ceiling fans and 2 light fixtures.
Yes.
So we're talking max $1,000, right? To sell their home, which is a $600,000 house. And they didn't do it. They just, luckily at least they made all the light bulbs the same color, so consistent throughout. But
that's a pro tip, by the way.
It is. Just check your light bulbs.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many rooms that we're in where there's 3 different light colors coming from different lights, where a bulb is out, right?
Yep.
And when it comes to listing videos and photography, it's really important.
Yeah.
It's really important, right? It's a nice, consistent, clean theme.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't replace those fixtures, and I'm telling you, it makes such a huge difference to make the home feel more modern and updated.
It's such a subtle thing
because they were 20-year-old fixtures.
Yes.
And so those little things like that, we will tell you this is what you need to do.
Yes.
And you just have to trust. I mean, how many homes have we sold?
Yeah, tons.
Over 1,000
tons.
together, or between the two of us, right? So we've done this a lot.
Yes, it's tested,
and it works.
Proven. Yes. So yeah, that was a really cool. I'm excited for him to be able to move on and not have the stress of this house and to be able to get it sold for him, because I just felt so bad. And again, he wasn't getting good advice, Yeah. So, okay, our 6th and final seller that I want to talk about is what we deal with. It's the most common client that we work with. Can you guess what that is, Ryan?
Move up clients?
Kind of. No, the primary client that we work with is either a past client or a repeat referral.
Oh yeah. Okay. Done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like a category.
Yeah. So
for sure.
Right.
It's referrals and
that's the most of what we do. And this is a past client and I'm so excited to help them. So I sold their house, helped them buy this house. Their kids were little at the time and now their kids are older and they're ready. They don't need this massive house anymore.
Round 2.
So fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so fun because I have that history with them and we already work well together. So it'll just be a great process.
And it's such an awesome compliment when they come
Isn't
back.
it?
Yeah.
I think it's the best compliment. Yeah. Anytime I work with a client that comes back to me, it means so much. And I try to make sure I tell them that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was thinking the other day, there's a couple in my neighborhood that I helped them buy. It was a new build right after we did. And they are responsible for 5 different transactions between themselves and her mom and other family members.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
The clients that are loyal it means a lot to us. And the ones that aren't,
well, good luck. Sometimes they learn the hard way, because here's the reality. Like just what you were saying earlier with some of the other realtors out there that they don't have the experience. And for some, I know they're trying, but they just don't know.
They just don't know.
They don't have the support. They don't have the experience, and it's a nightmare for their clients, and they just don't know until they go through it. So sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
One of the couple that had it listed with 2 other realtors, they said that their first realtor, they felt like he was just after the paycheck. They felt that. And I think for us, that's something that I've never heard. Nor have I ever felt that with a client. Yeah. Our heart, and that's one of the reasons why I love working with you and everyone on our team, is truly to take care of that client.
Yes.
and do the best job for them.
Well, our goal is not just to have that transaction. We want to have the relationship
for
where it's
life.
5.
And how fun, right?
Yeah.
Because we do all of these events. We get to see them over the years. We get to stay in touch with them as their families grow and all of that. It's like truly the most amazing experience.
They come to our events. And
Totally.
it's super fun. Some of my favorite, what I would call VIP clients, have never even bought or sold. They just love us so much and they trust us because of our friendship or whatever, that they send 3 or 4 people to us, and it's cool.
And that's the biggest compliment.
And so going back to the agent thing, right? So sometimes they go with another agent and they have a fine experience, right? Because there are other agents out there that are good.
Yeah.
I think it's fewer than not,
For sure.
right? I mean, statistically,
Yeah.
one of the numbers that's thrown around a lot now is 71% of agents out there have sold 0 homes in the last 12 months. 71%. I mean, that's just astounding, right? And so usually the top 10% of the realtors are doing 90% of the production.
Yep.
And I'd say probably 95 and 5.
And the hard part with that, and I always feel bad for those new agents, this is not a knock on a new agent. Go get yourself a team, get yourself a mentor, and you'll be fine.
We had to start somewhere.
For sure, right.
So I was smart enough to start with you guys, who taught, you guys were willing to pour into me. And I took that big chance to leave my corporate life.
Yes, you did.
And it paid off immensely, right?
Sure.
But it was that support and that knowledge and experience.
Yeah, so it's not a knock on new agents, right? It's simply where are you learning, and are you just trying to go out this rogue, or are you really trying to take care of your client and figure out what's the best way to set them up for success? And I am telling you, we call it commission breath. When an agent is simply after that paycheck at the end of it, you feel that.
Yeah. Which there's nothing better than being able to walk away, like you talked about earlier, to walk away from one that you know is going to be more hassle than it will be value to us.
For sure.
Right? And that's nice, because then you don't have to work with people that either aren't going to appreciate you or they're going to be hard to work with.
100%.
So, yeah. So, and going back to the new agent thing, I will say this, props to any agent that flies solo. Like, I don't even know how you could do that. And be successful.
Or why you would want to.
But some do, and they're successful enough and they're content. So I'm like, great, go for it. But if you're brand new to real estate or you're thinking about it, you really need to have, at a minimum, a mentor and a coach.
Oh, for sure.
At a minimum.
For sure.
But like I freaking love our team because we have such studs and killers in every position.
I agree.
And it's mostly our support people that are always, almost always behind the scenes, standing right here, right now.
Yes.
And they're just helping us with all the little things so that we can do the bigger things that we need to focus on.
Yeah, for sure. And take care of the client. It is awesome. Well, that's it. Tale of 6 sellers.
And help us party and do all the fun events too.
All the fun stuff that we get to do too, right?
Yeah, good conversation.
I think so.
It's good stuff.
So if anyone is thinking of selling and wants to meet with us, reach out. We're available. We would love to help.
We got all kinds of stories and experiences that we can share too, but this is just a kind of a snapshot. And it's funny because these are all current ones.
This week. Just this week. Yeah.
So, all right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.